So why does BMW make so many different types of this very similar bikes? You got the R bike with the boxer motor, you got this, you got the K1300. Why do they keep on making the same bike? I'll fill you in. Cue the intro. All right guys, I'm Sean from Srkcycles. We have a 2010 BMW K1300GT. Awesome bike, a blast to drive. Just to fill you in on some of the specs, this is a 2013. This thing's weighing about 635 pounds, 160 horsepower with 99 foot-pounds of torque. That's a lot of horsepower. That's, you know, if you have a 600 Super Sport, this has significantly more horsepower and probably more torque than your 600 Super Sport does. This has about as much horsepower as like the, you know, early 2000s liter bikes do. So this thing's a blast to drive. But what's the main difference between this and like the bike we test drove a couple days ago, the BMW R1200 RT? And the biggest difference is the engine configuration. The RT is a boxer motor, so it's going to have a little more vibration, a little more raw. This is an inline 4-cylinder. It's going to be really smooth. The one complaint I had about the RT was when you're going higher speeds, like on a track or on the Autobahn 90 plus, it just felt a little bit buzzy. You're not going to have that problem with this motorcycle. Not that I'm going to show you that, or not that I'm going to do that, because I abide by the law. Now it does say that this bike has a top speed of 125. I don't believe that. The speedometer goes 170. I would imagine this thing could easily do 160 miles an hour. So unless it's like electronically governed, that really does surprise me. When you look down here, the BMW does have a single-sided swing arm with a 180 back tire, and this particular bike has a Remus hexacone exhaust, so it should sound pretty awesome. Also equipped with these giant saddlebags. They're huge, they got plenty of space, so of course you can keep it open, you can lock them, but then you can release them. So you can actually use these things as like your luggage pack. So if you're taking a big trip, all your clothes are in here, all your wife's clothes are in here, put the key in there, unlock it, pull this whole thing off the bag, take it into your hotel, and then you've got everything you need. Now, these bikes are a ton of fun to drive. If you've never driven a BMW or a BMW touring bike, it's really easy to see very quickly why so many people love them and why so many people will only drive BMWs. Let's take this for a spin and we'll check it out firsthand. All right, guys, before the test drive, let's do the words of wisdom. Proverbs 21. Yes, when the scoffer is punished, the naive become wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. Wise people, when they hear instruction, they actually get smarter with it. They don't just like, my daughter does this. She's 4. You tell her something and she just puts her head down and walks away. She doesn't hear anything you said. That's a really tough thing to do though. But you got to get to that point in your life where you're like, you know what? I'm here to learn. I'm here to get better. All right, I did it wrong. I'm not doing it right. All right, how do I do it right? Because it's a lot of it's a pride thing. Because if you're like, everything I do is the best, then everything someone tells you is going to be, don't tell them what to do. But if you're like, I want to do it better. Okay, this guy might have a better idea. Let's figure it out. So it's been a little while since I sold one of these. The last one I sold was that was a 1200. What was that? It was an M Sport bike. Much more sportier than this, didn't have the bags. Every time you jump on one of these BMWs, you see these things have, yes, this one has it. These things have like electronically assisted brakes. It's a big bike. You know, so a lot of times you jump on a big bike, you jump on an ultra classic or something really big and it's like, whoa. You go from like a sport bike to a big touring bike and you realize that you're like, these brakes suck. You have no braking power. Big bike, normal size brakes. But with these BMWs, it's a big bike, but when you're moving, nothing about it feels like a big bike. And not even the brakes. This thing brakes like a sport bike, it really does. It's really part of that whole BMW feel, why people really like it. Let me go through some of the features. This is the cruise control right up here. Here's info. This also has automatically adjusting Suspension, electronically adjusting suspension. This tells me my tire pressure, 33 and 39, tells me my tripometer, 70 degrees outside, 63 miles till empty. A lot of awesome info you can play with. Oh, here's that, I don't know what ACS is. ESA, electronically, I don't know what any of these are. Let's start pressing stuff. Alright, so this is changing the suspension. What is this doing? No idea. This, of course, raises up and down the windshield, which is a super cool modification. And this has heated seats and heated grips, and also has a separate switch for the passenger for their heated seats. So your wife or your girlfriend or whoever, just some random person, will be super comfortable sitting on the back of your bike. Now, if you've ever wondered, now this is a sport touring bike, if you've ever wondered why, alright, because here's a lot of young guys are generally not riding sport touring bikes, although the smart ones do because they're awesome bikes and they're kind of the best of everything. But if you ever wonder, like, why do these bikes need 160 horsepower? That's a lot of power. That's a really respectable power to weight ratio. That's a quick bike. And what someone told me one time was it all goes back to the way they ride motorcycles in Europe. And this is the one trend in Europe that trickles down to America. That trickles down to America that we're like, all right, I like that. I like that. As an American. So, and what it is that you got these sport touring guys, and their job in life is to go as fast as they can, as far as they can. They jump on these roads with no speed limits or really high speed limits, and they just cruise and, you know, 130 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour for the whole tank. One, that sounds awesome. Man, that sounds cool. It kind of changes the way, but it changes the way you look at the bike, because it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's why a bike like this can go that fast. But when generally around here, all you see is just old guys. Old guys wearing jackets that look like mine because they're smart, and full face helmets, you know, just going on BMW trips. And I'm not like saying anything bad about these old guys. These old guys are awesome. Let's just be honest, these guys are awesome. But you know, you just kind of wonder, why do they need that much power? Because we can, and because, hey, you know what? Everyone, I should have dropped down like 2 more gears, but everyone, I was going for that dramatic effect where I drop down gears and I like fly away, but I only took it down to 4th. Everyone appreciates a fast bike. If you ride bike, you're probably thinking, it could be faster, and that's just life. So these things do a lot of things extremely well. The handling is very nimble. It is it's just very, very smooth. Smoother than the R bike, although I love the R bike. I love the way it feels. Smoother is not always the best. You know, I might genuinely love the way the Boxer 1170 cc's feel. They're awesome. All right, let's do a 0 to 60 real quick. See what that traction control does. There. Now you notice I was able to hit 60 in first gear. That's awesome. You can get the speed pretty quick. 0 to the speed limit. That if I had to guess, not that my launch sucked. I don't practice launches. I just whatever. I kind of eased into it. I'm guessing that was like 3 and a 3.3. if I had to guess. That was pretty quick. There's no sheds, it was awesome. When it comes to cruising on the highway, you know, a lot of touring bikes, you have a lot of fairing. Like all this is all fairing, you know, it's like a dashboard. This isn't really that way, and I'm really appreciating it. I'm feeling air on my shoulders. It's cooling me down. It's a very nice cruise. It is it's very comfortable at any gear. If you want to pass anyone, just roll on the throttle. Tells you all your information right there. The ergonomics of this thing. Now my knees are touching. My knees do kind of touch the body, which are kind of made for that. There's little indentations right there, and it's kind of like I'm resting my knees on there. So I like it. I could see maybe if you were real tall or you had really long knees, that might be an issue, or it might just go up here. I don't know. I never had longer knees and longer legs than what I have now, so I don't know. And this guy was part of the Platinum Cycle Club. Don't know what that is either. So, once again, BMW made an amazing bike 9 years ago. This bike is fun. This bike has 43,000 miles on it, which, I mean, if you know anything about BMWs or their bikes, that's nothing. These things have run for a long time. They really are. What is BMW Motorcycles' motto? Their car is the ultimate driving machine. I would imagine they use a different motto for their motorcycles, for the Motor Rad line, but I don't know what that is. Oh well. Alright guys, that wraps it up. We will see you next time, next video. We're trying to bust out a video every single day. So tune in, subscribe, and if you notice, I'm wearing the M1 Moto 507 gloves. I love these gloves. Very, very durable, and the touch is just awesome. You feel like you're not wearing anything at all. Just like Flanders when he goes skiing. Nothing at all. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all is what he said. Alright guys, that wraps it up. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, it's not what you're riding, but where you're going.